Oh, good morning, Teaserking family. Happy Thanksgiving. Well, it's tomorrow, but we're always 5 steps ahead of the game, right? Anyway, hope everybody's well. Clean this up. Okay, a little bit. Maybe it's my eyes. Anyway, been looking at the games. I got to do it quickly because we got the 3 games tomorrow. We got the whole slew on Friday. So I found quite a few. I also went through the pros. And I found I did a 5 gamer. And found some interesting changes. Let's take a quick look at gold. Gold was doing well today, as was silver. So again, they're fucking around. Gold's 41.70, goes down to 41.52, goes up to 41.63, goes back to 41.40, and finally ends there at 41.62, where it's at now. Silver, nice 52.67, going up nicely on our way to 100. Again, it's just bullshit. These Comex. Oh, it's too high. We gotta short it because it's gonna go down. They have no idea what they're doing. These guys. So 41.62. So it's staying over the 38. So it's staying over. So you notice how it kind of jumped to 43, and then went back to 3,900, and then slowly over that, then over 4,000, and now 41. And it really doesn't come. It comes down a little. These $20 bullshits, but not really anything too bad. And it could just keep going up. Who's shorting it? Why are you shorting it? Well, there's no demand. Really, there's no demand. So I don't quite understand the shortage. Again, they're playing the Comex game where they think, oh, it went up, so it's going to go down like it's a stock. And again, it just blows your mind. So anyway, 41.62, and we're past 10 o'clock. So notice at 10 o'clock, where you see it drop, and then right at 10 o'clock, and then boom, they buy it at 41.40 to sell it at 41.62. Now it's 41.62. And I don't know why they're selling it. If you just bought physical, you'd make 10 times the amount you're going to make in this bullshit option game. Anyway, good news for us. Again, if you're 5 steps ahead of the game like we are, I mean, you go and I might go to the gold store today because I'm sure they'll be closed tomorrow. So I got this 1/10 of an ounce maple leaf. And these are about 450 now. I used to buy them for 200. But I'm not looking to sell it. I didn't buy it at 200 to sell it at 400. That's not the point. That's not the way the game's played. This game that we're playing is to get as much gold and silver as you can and hold it, and then watch the value go up. And that's what we're doing. So again, this is not the dollar going down. So like they're trying to say, well, gold's really not going up. Bullshit. Gold's, oh, okay, so it's up $20 for the hell of it. No, gold is going up because of demand, because of BRICS. All of them buying gold because the dollar's going out. So yes, the fact that the dollar's going out brings demand into gold, but the price of gold is not set. And so therefore, when we see it go up to 41.63, the value of the gold's going up. Not because the dollar triggered the demand, but to get to the 41.63 is based on the market, is based on demand of the market. We know the supply is limited, but people have ignored gold. That's why it hasn't gone up, because they don't understand it, because they're not taught it. But if you understand it like we do, then you're buying. And now everybody's buying, the demand's grown for gold and the price is going up. I mean, so yeah, it's not gold going up. Yeah, it is gold going up. So if you listen to Alligator and he gives you this bullshit, you just roll your eyes at him and go, dude, you're a banker. You don't fucking understand this. Egon just sits there and goes, I'll just keep buying it because we're going to make a fortune, as we do. One side note, I got a traffic ticket, no points. I was going, and Alyssa needed to get home to get the kids off the bus. So I quickly cut through a sub, even though it had no right turn from 3 to 6 and it was 3:30. But I've done that before and I've never had an issue. And, I pretend I'm not driving through it. So there's a cop there and he gives me a ticket. But he says, I'll give you this. Instead, there's no points. So I said, okay, fine. I just don't want to, it's a bullshit ticket. Cutting through a subdivision is, what's the problem? Very stupid thing. And again, this is the problem. The cops are more worried about you driving through to generate revenue than they are to actually stop crime. Sort of like the doctor. The doctor will not prevent your illness. He'll give you a pill so you just don't feel it, but he won't fix your illness. This is why I watch Sven and Barbara O'Neill. They actually fix, you got the hacking cough. You put an onion on your foot, it fixes it. See, they actually fix it. The doctors just want to push pills at you. And who knows what's in our food. Just be careful eating. Watch the canned goods. Stay away from cereals. My God, bread. That stuff will kill you. So just be careful with that. So he gives me a ticket to, and I said, I'm trying to get her home so she gets her kids on the bus. He didn't care. The fact is you turned, and had I known, what I will do now is turn at an earlier street that doesn't have this and then try to come down. I don't have to turn into that street. I can turn into a street before and then come down, I guess. So he gives me this ticket, no points. So I go pay it last night. It was $195 fucking dollars for what did he call it? Just kind of stopping traffic or something. I forget the word, but it was like encumbering traffic. I think it's $25-$50. It's a ticket, $190. But I looked at all the tickets, and they're all like $250. It's like, this is how we're generating revenue, by stopping people, giving them traffic tickets. No, that's not what the police are for. It just shows you how everybody's broke. The inflation's killing everybody. So that's the problem. So I haven't gotten a ticket in 20 years, and this won't go on my insurance supposedly. So I'll be fine with it. And, the 195, okay, I got the message. I won't turn right anymore. Very ridiculous. But it's a bad light because you stop at the light, but everybody's stopped. There's like a Kroger's there. So, people are letting the people turn in from Kroger's. And so you have this big line to make the right, but most people aren't. There's no right lane. There's a right turn lane. Everybody would just go over and it would be fine, but there isn't. So you got to wait 2 or 3 lights, and she's in a hurry always. And I'll look for a better, like a different route to get there. And it's just 3 to 6. So, but the problem is we normally, we'll have a lunch and then, I got to get home for the kids at the bus at 4 o'clock. So we're usually leaving 3. Anyway, so as you see these cities going broke, they're trying to get money by screwing all their people and raising the ticket prices and then getting you in these bullshit tickets, cutting through a subdivision. Like really, this is a law, and this is a infraction. I mean, I understand speeding to a point, although that's totally illegal. There shouldn't be speeding tickets. Speed should be based on safety, not, oh, we'll go 40. I mean, that's ridiculous. But anyway, that's the problem. So I paid it, because they threaten you. Well, Secretary of State will take away your license and do all this. And, look, okay, here, I figured, okay, here's $50, and we'll take care of it. But $195, holy fuck. Anyway, so looking at the football, now my synopsis has always been I take the total points and come up with their offense and defense so we can bet it, so I can rank the teams. But I went into last 5. So let me show you last 5. We'll come back to our gold and silver. So we've got Detroit and Green Bay coming up. So here's our last 5. So Green Bay, for example, is a B team with like a 16 defense, and they score 20 something. Well, they score here. All right, so this is the full year. Green Bay gets 18 points a game, Detroit 21, and then defensively, Green Bay gives up 18. No, there we go. Green Bay scores 23, Detroit scores 29. Okay, that's your overall macro look, but we want to look at the micro look because we want to get to Detroit against good defenses. So we realize a lot of their points Detroit scores a lot on is Washington and the Giants and Cleveland and Cincinnati. Well, Cleveland, decent defense, but Cincinnati. And so what we're looking at is they're scoring a lot of their points against weak defenses, which is what my synopsis. But let's see. Oh, Green Bay, they didn't score. Kansas City, they didn't score. Minnesota, they did put up 24. And now Philadelphia was a 16-9. So I did last 5. So I took the total of 5, put it in a box. I have a formula that says divide by 5. So I have a number 5. I go divide by A17, which is 5. And I total this up. And all of a sudden, Detroit, is a little different. And they got a 22 defense, not a 24 defense. So their defense is a little better last 5, as you can see. 2 27s, a 22, a 16, and a 9. And against Philly and Tampa and Minnesota, not bad. Giving up 27 to the Giants doesn't make a whole lot of a thing. And then 22 on Washington, 27 on Minnesota. So it's really weird. They're giving up 27 to J.J. McCarthy, 27 to Winston, and then 22 to Mariota. So it's been a strange run. And, against Washington and the Giants, they're scoring, but 9 on Philly. So when you get to it, it does change it. But when you look at Green Bay in 5 games, now they played Pitt and Philly and Minnie. The worst they did was give up 25 to Pittsburgh and Aaron Rodgers. Okay, makes sense. Then you look at the points. Well, they besides the Pitt game, which I don't know what happened there, it was 35. The rest is nothing. 27 on the Giants, 23 of it, but low scoring games. So I've changed my thing. So now I got Green Bay as a 15 defense and Detroit as a 22 defense offensively. Now I'd say half the teams it didn't change, right? Same if whatever I had in total was what I got the five. The defense changed, some there's considerable change and some most of that is that. So I kind of like Dallas is a 27 defense now, not a 28 or 29. Uh, Green Bay's a 15 and a 22. So Green Bay, at first thought was let's go over in the game. And then looking at Detroit against the better teams, Kansas City and Philadelphia and Green Bay, they're not an over team. But they are an over team playing Chicago, Cincinnati, Cleveland, Washington, the Giants. So now we're almost breaking the NFL down into two, the upper and the lower, right? The rich and the poor. And so when Detroit plays the better defensive teams, it's an under game. And we had a big bet on them against Philly. We hit the under on that game. Made you money on that game, right? On the other side of it, the you get some team. Philadelphia, they went from a 21 defense to a 17. Philadelphia is a B team now. They're playing uh, very well, considering even though they lost to Dallas. Um, Arizona, they got worse. They're a 30. You went from a 26 defense to a 31. The Jets turned into an under team, a 24 defense. Miami, a 19 defense. Now, they don't play anybody good. Obviously, not playing Buffalo or New England in that stretch. And that's the other part of the puzzle. It's what stretch are we in? If they play Buffalo, New England, they're not going to be a 19 defense. However, the teams they play will make them a 19 defense. So you got to be careful. Are they playing New Orleans? Are they playing the Jets? Are they playing Atlanta? Depending on who they're playing. So now you got to go to a third level, which is who did they play? Like I said, with the Lions, when they play weak defenses, they're stars, but when they play good defenses, golf doesn't show up. And it's becoming more and more clear with them, the differentiation. So let's go through the changes. Well, let's go through the line. Now, tomorrow we got 3 games. I will play 3. I have one locked in those 3 games. Detroit, 2.5, 48.5. Kansas City, 352. And Baltimore, 751.5. We got Philadelphia, 744.5. We've got the Rams, 10 and 45. We got Tampa, 3 and 44.5. We got the Atlanta, 2.5, 39.5 over the JETSs. We got Miami, 641.5 to New Orleans. We got Indy, 4.5, 44.5 to Houston. We got Jacksonville, 6.5, 42.5 to Tennessee. We got the Niners, 538 to Cleveland. We got Seattle, 10.5, 41 to Minnesota. We got San Diego, 1041 to Oakland. We got Buffalo, 447.5 to Pitt. We got Denver, 6.5, 43.5 to Washington. And we've got New England, 7.5, 46.5 to the Giants. I found a couple of free plays. I'll give you one. And we're going to go with Philadelphia as your free play. I was looking at totals, but after reviewing what I just did the last 5, They went from a 21 defense to a 17, and they scored more points. Uh, the Bears haven't beaten anybody. I think they beat one decent team. They played Baltimore and got killed. They beat Minnesota. They've had the easiest schedule, and you know, uh, Philly is a 19-4 home favorite. Play against the Bears as a road dog, 5-0. Play against Philly this year, 10-1, but that doesn't mean you can't take it. So maybe Chicago and 13 is a good one, but Philly -1 also. So that's your free play. Philly -1 on Friday. Happy Thanksgiving. Should be a good one. They are coming off of a loss. It was either that or a different game, but because the other team isn't coming off, because Philly's at home coming off a loss, I think they're overrating the Bears. Philly blew the lead against Dallas. Bears can't throw the ball like Dallas does. They'll try those trick little plays, but that's it. Hey, Alex, how are you? Been playing college basketball the last few days, doing mostly live plays on good teams that are down early. Yeah, well, that makes sense. I don't know if they give you the true value on these. I think they like Kansas City, the Chiefs. If they get down, I think they think they're still going to win. Or Kansas City, let's say KC gets down 10-0 to Dallas. You're not going to get the right play that you would if it was, maybe the Rams getting down to Carolina. They would still think the Rams are going to win. They would still think Kansas City's going to win. But, it's hard. You're probably not getting the correct odds. But if you're winning, that's all that matters. So good for you, Alex. I already got 2 locks. I posted one. Or do I have 2? I love the lock in college. I'm going to have at least another lock in college. Uh, I just got to weigh in on who needs the game. Like, Tennessee plays Vanderbilt. Does Vanderbilt need the game to get into the playoff? They can't win the SEC. A&M Texas. Does Texas need it? So it's things like that. I did give you that. A&M Texas over 51 is a freaking joke. That spread should be 61 if it's anything. How 51? We've been watching Texas give up 30 points a game to passing teams. Oh yeah, A&M's got probably one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the country. And A&M played an 80-point game with Notre Dame. They played an 80-point game with Arkansas. They're not. This is not going to be 17-14. Not the way A&M throws the ball, and Texas needs it. So, yeah, this 51, and we go in our world. That's 45. That's halftime score for Texas A&M. So anyway, last night I got Arizona State even, and Nebraska -4.5. Yeah, the Texas over is a lock. Love Utah State too. Boise ain't the old house. Boise ain't the old house. Yeah, Boise, well, they always had the good coach and they'd get the good players, and then they keep changing coaches. And yeah, the blue carpet, everybody's, you couldn't win there. Now, yeah, everybody is it. Utah State, I have to find that one. Utah State. Where's Utah? Maybe they're on Friday. Oh, Utah State, Boise. Love Utah State too. So they're a home dog to Boise. I don't know. They got a 30 defense. I wouldn't. They were supposed to be an over team, but they're not really playing over. Anyway, I'll get to college in a minute. So I Philly -1. That's gold, Jerry. That's really gold. And what makes it even better is they're off the loss to Dallas. They'll be mad, and the Bears haven't. I think the Bears beat Dallas. That was their big win, like week 3 or 4, and then they just beat Pittsburgh, who's not exactly. Pittsburgh is an over team, and it was a high scoring game. But anyway, like let's take a look at Washington. I had him as a W team with the 25-26 defense. But after doing last 5, they're a Z team with the 34 defense. There's a few others whose defense went up or down. The Giants are a 32 defense now, and New England's a 19 defense. Pitt's got a 25 defense. Minnie is now a 27 defense. Cleveland at 20. Jacksonville's a 26 defense, and Indy's 22. Miami's got a 19. They went from 25 to 19, but again, there's no Buffalo and New England on that thing. That'll be an interesting game, Buffalo, New England. It sounds like a tease the dog or an over when we get to it. I don't like the schedules. Green Bay hasn't played Chicago, and then they're going to play them next week and then in 2 weeks. So they're going to 2 out of the next 3 weeks. They're playing the Bears twice. Because the Bears are so misleading, 8-3, but I cannot see a scenario after a loss. They're beating Philadelphia at home, at Philly. No fucking way. Philly's much better at home. They're what? 19-4 is a home favorite. Right there, 19-4 is a home favorite. After a loss, who knows, right? Look at the Lions after a loss. They never lose after a loss. And somehow it was a miracle that we won. So explain to me the Giants coach. You've got a 3-point lead. There's a couple minutes left in the game. You got the ball at the 5-yard line, and it's 4th and goal at the 5. You have Winston as your quarterback. So instead of kicking the field goal to go up 6, which makes Detroit have to score a touchdown, you don't do it. What is the point of getting the touchdown to go up 10? But it's 4th and 5. It's not like an automatic. It makes sense theoretically. Well, we'll get up 10, we win the game. You get up 6, you win the game. They have to score a touchdown. And I'm tired of this bullshit. Well, you leave them with the ball at the 5-yard line. You leave them in a 3-point game is what you left them in. Again, the goal of the game is to score more points than the other team. So when you got the ball at the 5-yard line and it's 4th down at the 5, you kick the field goal. You go up 6, forcing the Lions to score a touchdown to win by 1. Nope, can't do that. Let's go for it. You have Jameis Winston as your quarterback. Are you insane? Tom Brady, maybe. Aaron Rodgers, maybe. If I have this high-flying offense, but this is Winston you've got. So, again, I don't understand why they didn't kick the field goal, and I've seen that. There was other games with the same thing. They're not kicking the field goal. Is there a new law like you've got to go on 4th down? No matter what, no matter where you are, no matter what the score, no matter what time's left in the game. Yeah, there's 2 minutes left. We're up 3, so we'll go for it on 4th and 5 and leave them in the game where all they need is a field goal, which they made a 59-yard field goal to tie you, and then win it on the Gibbs run. I don't think you're going to see Gibbs go off against Green Bay. You got Micah Parsons there, by the way. And when he did that in overtime, I was watching the replay on YouTube, and I like the commentator, the guy from Miami, the linebacker. I can't think of his name. He noticed that the best Giant defender who's good at stopping the run wasn't in the game, and he said that. I can't think of the guy's name. He played for Miami, Florida, and then he played. He was on the Jets. He's a linebacker, but he's a good announcer. But he said their best player wasn't on the field, and that's when Gibbs went for the touchdown in overtime. And anyway, that's the key is what are you doing? What is this? I got to go on fourth down. I was starting to watch the Tennessee game from last week, playing Seattle, wondering how I lost that with a 20-point lead, laying 7. And they keep going on fourth down. Cam Ward, he runs, he does this. It's amazing how many times they convert. Like the defense is a little different. Like the first 3 downs, they're normal. And on fourth down, it's a little different defense. So the quarterback runs for the first down. Just blitz, just fourth down, just blitz and take that run away from him, and he'll panic, and that's it. Alex, yeah, this analytics crap has deteriorated the game. How about Carolina taking a point off the board because the Niners committed a penalty on the extra point? They went for 2 and didn't make it. Yeah, I don't like if you are that good at it, you'd have done it at the 2-yard line. You needed it to 1. And they don't look at I'm big at risk and reward. Right, with my finance background, I'm kind of going, well, what are you risking and what are you gaining? So when you go for fourth down at your own 40, the risk is you don't get it. You give them the ball at the 40. The reward is nothing. There is no reward because okay, fourth and 2 at the 40 and you get it. Now you got the ball at the 42. What was your reward? Nothing. There was no reward. You didn't get anything. You didn't even get past midfield. You should punt the ball and play defense. That's the way the game is. It's a field position game. I grew up watching the Bo Woody, Michigan, Ohio State games in the 60s and 70s, and it was always General Patton Woody Hayes, and he always played field position, and so did Bo. He would kick the ball, get you down to the 10-yard line, and then play the hunting defense on you. So where did that go? Right? Oh no, we got to go. We get the ball midfield. You watch any game. They get the ball at midfield, and it's 4th and 2, and they will go for 98% of the time with no reward. Okay, they get it. You didn't score. Now you're not in field goal range. You didn't pin them back. You took a big risk because if you didn't get it, you give them the ball at the 50. I don't understand the coaches that they're that analytics and everything else. I really don't understand. Um, what the hell's going on with it? It's just so stupid. I'll tell you, the Oregon coach is terrible. He cost them the playoffs when Penix went because he kept going for it on fourth down and missing. And then I don't know if he did that same shit against USC. Terrible, rough game that one. But anyway, that's what you have. So yes, analytics is terrible. They're not understanding it. Somehow they get percentages which nobody knows if are accurate, and you're using them blanket against every team. Now you don't probably go 4th and 2 against Philadelphia. The Lions did that 5 times in their game and went 0 for 5. You're playing Philadelphia, Jalen Carter. You're not getting a 4th down on them. It isn't going to happen. Punt the fucking ball. Their weakness is Jalen Hurts. That's your advantage. Punt the ball at Jalen Hurts at the 10-yard line. You'll get a turnover. He's not a very good quarterback. He looked like shit against Dallas. Oh, my God. This is Dallas. This isn't the doomsday defense. This is something else. This is pathetic. Just a second. Just a second. All right. Sorry about that. Um, Alex, thoughts on Michigan's chances? We thought they had no chance last year and they won. I'm not so quick to dismiss Michigan's chances. I tell you, I bet against them 2 years ago and last year. Uh, that's why I don't like C.J. Stroud. He choked against Michigan. Um, there's no way they should have won last year without a quarterback. I think I had a little bit on the under. This year, freshmen don't win that game, and both teams have freshman quarterbacks. One freshman's going to win. When I superficially look at it, I go Ohio State. All I got to do is lay 4. I mean, I'm laying 30 every week, and now I can lay 4. They beat Penn State. At the end of the day, Michigan knows how to play them. Michigan's pretty much with the good defense, but I don't know if it's any better than Penn State's. I mean, Ohio State basically played nobody. Okay, they beat Texas, who we see is really not that good, and then they beat Washington, who we see is, they're a good team, but I don't know. I think under's the call because what's our line? 44.5 under 50. I don't know. I mean, Michigan scores, but they're not going to score in Ohio State. Ohio State's got the deadly defense, and Michigan's is not too bad. Let me break it down when we get to it, but I think under. I don't think Ohio State scores 50 points on them like they score on everybody else. It's not the same game as everybody else. So from that standpoint, I think it's I think you can only go total. If you bet it, you got to take Michigan in 16. It's a tease the dog game. Since 1969, if you tease the dog, you won like 29 out of 30. It was like 29-1, teasing the dog with Bo and Woody, and then the it was always a close game. They always choke up. They always play close to the vest, or close to the chest, or close to the vest, whatever the word is. So they always do that, and that's why Michigan's been winning. Ohio State is not playing the way they won in the playoffs. That's what I couldn't figure out. You couldn't score on Michigan, then you put up all these points on Oregon. I'm like, what the fuck? I don't know. Turnovers will decide the game probably. Well, I think the defense will decide the game. I think Ohio State, I don't really. Michigan's on their third string running back. That Haynes guy's out, and the other guy's out. And the third guy had a good game against Maryland. So I don't even know if it's the running backs or the offensive line. Defensively, I got to break that down. I got Michigan with a 17 defense, but we'll look last 5 or last 6 to see what they're really doing, because then it's more conference games you throw out. So I looked at Michigan. They lost to Oklahoma. They didn't. It was 27-13. It was a 40-pointer. And then the other loss was to USC, 31-13, a 44. That was on the road. This is at Michigan. Ohio State won at Washington, a close, low-scoring game. I think you got to bet it low. I think you get 44. I think you got to go under 50. I think it's the only way to play it, because you can't. There's a reason Ohio State's lost 4 in a row. I mean, they've had the better team the last 2 years. They won the fucking national championship last year, quote, maybe, but they couldn't beat Michigan, who had no quarterback. I mean, it blows your mind. And I don't like the kid right now. He might blossom into something if he stays there 3 years. Right now, he stinks. He's okay. This moment's way too big for him. But so is the Ohio State quarterback. He's a freshman. He's not ready for this moment either. Just like the Alabama quarterback got in the big game, choked against Oklahoma. Same thing here. I think you want a senior here. That's why Art Schlichter won his senior year. Michigan had won like 10 in a row, but Art was in his senior year, knew what to expect, and won the game at the end. These are always low-scoring, close games. Well, not always. There was a few. C.J. Barrett, I think there was high-scoring games, but Michigan's not a high-scoring team, though. They're a B team. Ohio State's a high scoring team, but not against this defense. I think you got to look at like the Ohio State Penn State game, which did get high because of a fumble, but I think 50 points. I think the only way to play it's under, unless you take Michigan at 16. And if I don't have the balls to do that, I'm not betting against Ohio State, even though I know they probably can't win this game. There's a reason they've lost 4 straight. Now they might win it. I think if they get off to a lead, the defense will just seal it. I think Michigan. I don't know. I don't know if they're going to have trouble scoring again. They had trouble at Oklahoma. I think it's very similar to the Oklahoma game, 24-13. That would be my guess. That's the best defense Michigan's played. They didn't show up. And the USC doesn't have the defense. Washington, with the pretty good defense, they beat Washington pretty good. So otherwise, the Big Ten schedule has been a joke. No Iowa, no Penn State, no Illinois, I don't think, for Michigan. The Big Ten's too big now. You got 16 teams. So, like, Ohio State played Washington, and they get Michigan, and that's in Penn State, who wasn't any good when they played them. So how are they not playing Indiana, Oregon, USC? Where are all these games? It's ridiculous. So you want to have you've got to bunch those teams, almost like the NFL, where Philadelphia is playing Baltimore and Buffalo and Kansas City and Detroit. And all those teams are playing each other, and all the New Orleans and Miami and the Jets are playing each other. You need something like that here, where there's no reason Ohio State and Michigan shouldn't be playing Oregon, SC, Washington, Iowa. Michigan did play Nebraska 130-27, but I'm not sold on Nebraska's defense. They gave up 30-something to Penn State. I think the only thing you can do here is go under in the game, or Michigan at 16, and I don't have the balls to do that. That's a terrible bet. Now, after the game's over, it might be a good bet because it's normally close, and it's normally play the dog, and Michigan's won the last 4. So you really can't take Ohio State -4, even though they should win. They should have won the last 2-3 years. I mean, they've had the better, like last year. How could they not win last year? Michigan's defense. Michigan knows how to play them. Michigan knows how to, score on. Well, not a lot. They didn't score a lot on them. But yeah, I think that's the only way I think you can play it is under. All right. So let's do some teaser trends on the pros. Green Bay 12-1 is a road dog. They're a road dog here. Play against Dallas as a home favorite is now 8-1 because you did win on Philly +3 last week, even though Philly, what happened to them? 21-0, and they lose. Fortunately, we had the over of 41, I think, 42, and it was tied to 21. So I said, okay, that's a winner. They got us. They can't end it. Well, they could end in a tie, but they'll keep scoring. Cincinnati, Baltimore. Play against Cincinnati is 10-1 this year. Now we've got Joe Burrow's back. Jamar Chase is playing. Cincinnati's got a 36 defense. Are you fucking kidding me? Baltimore's is a 24. But when you do a deep dive into Baltimore, I mean, look what you find out with. It's very, very misleading. Baltimore's got a 24 defense, but when you look at it, last 5, it's like a 19. But wait a minute, who did they play the last 5? And you got Trey Hendrickson out, Joe Burrow is back, T. Higgins is out. We don't care. We got Chase. So when you look at Baltimore, they give up 20. It's 24 points a game here. But let's go last 5. If we look at Baltimore last 5, it's 22, 42, 56, 66 divided by 5 is like a 15 or 12. But look who they played. The Bears, Miami, Minnesota, Cleveland, and the Jets. Well, the Jets don't score. Cleveland doesn't score. Miami doesn't score. All right, the Bears and Minnesota, those two. But if wait a minute, they put up 40. Buffalo put up 40 on them. Detroit put up 40 on them, and a few other teams scored a lot on them. So when you take the whole thing, it is a 24. And this is the misleading part of the last 5 is when you got to look at the schedule and then you go, shit, they haven't played anybody. They killed the Bears. That was Lamar's first game back, I believe. And then Miami, Cleveland, and the Jets aren't going to score anyway, and Minnesota with J.J. McCarthy. So you got 5 shit teams with shit offenses. When we look at the Bengals, all right, they played New England 26, Pittsburgh twice in the 30s. So, yeah, it's a little different now. The Bears, they played a 47-42 game, and even the Jets put up 39. So we know Cincinnati has a 36 defense. We know Baltimore is going to score 40 points in this game, but Joe Burrow and Chase will also put up in the 30s, I believe. So this is the one critical part of the last 5 is who did they play? Now, this is unusual because if we look at Baltimore's whole schedule, I mean, you got 41 to Buffalo. You've got 38 to Detroit, 37 to Kansas City, 44 to fucking Houston, 17 to the Rams, and then the last 5. So wait a minute. So you see when you look at the whole picture, it's different than what we're seeing. So that's why you've got to, when you look at the last 5, does it make sense? It's got to be some decent teams in there. But this is the problem with the NFL. I mean, you got them playing the Jets and Miami and the Bears and these nothing teams, New Orleans, and then you've got them playing Buffalo, Kansas City, Detroit, these teams that score. So that's really you've got to break them apart. And then you got to see who they're playing. Baltimore is playing a explosive Cincinnati team with Joe Burrow and Chase. Yeah, let's go back to the Buffalo, Kansas City. Let's go back to the Detroit game. It's an 80-point game. This isn't Miami. They're not going to score 6 like Miami and the Jets and even Minnesota with the 19. It's not going to be that. It's going to be now. You've got to go to the over teams. So we expect a lot of points in that game. We being me and the professor. It's like I'm Batman and Bruce Wayne, right? All right, so that's the pros. Your free pick, Philadelphia -1. That's a joke. They're not losing at home to the Bears after losing to Dallas. It isn't going to happen. 3 picks on Thanksgiving. I'm playing every game. Just for you guys, well, and for me too. And then we've got another 4 or 5 good games in that. Now, after going last 5, for example, New Orleans is a Z team. Miami's an under team. New Orleans with like a 22 defense, Miami with a 19. What's going on? As they get into the season, they start tweaking and getting better. So that's almost an under game. 41.5, New Orleans and Miami. Where are you going to get points from? I think New Orleans, I think you can go under every game. I'll do a little research on that. Good game, Houston and Indy. Indy with the 21 defense, not only just a good offense, but you can't fuck with Houston's defense. They got that 19 defense. And I don't know if C.J. Stroud's going to play or if he's still got a headache. But hard to go over in a Houston game, right? They got that killer. They played Buffalo. That's about what you'll see here. Is Indy really that? Now, Indy put up 20 points on KC, which was good. But if you notice, Daniel Jones disappeared in the fourth quarter, right? When you needed to put the game away or a long drive at the end to score, kick a field goal, get up, didn't show up. And that's why we don't look at a Daniel Jones. We don't look at a Caleb. We don't look at these guys. They don't win the game for us. And that's what we want. That's why I don't know about Drake May yet. Let me see. He did beat Buffalo. Let's see. Now they get the rematch. Okay, you're going to beat Buffalo? No fucking way. Josh Allen might actually try. We don't know what games Josh Allen tries and what games he doesn't try. So we will see. But I think, I hope it's not the Buffalo game, but I don't think so. If they're behind, they'll play. And that's what you want with Buffalo because you can't trust them. Right? You can't trust Josh Allen, really. Anyway, so that's what's on the pro plate. So mostly the 3 games tomorrow, and I gave you the Friday free pick. That'll all be out there. And let's go to college. College, I got a boatload, as I usually do. I mean, when you look at when you buy from me and you look at it, I don't know, like if I played a team and 2 teasers, if you're playing a team and 2 teasers, what I'm trying to tell you is that's a good play, that team, or that over under. Like last week, the Baylor over wins, probably have them in 2 teasers. So what I'm signifying is I really like the game. Well, it was a lock anyway, but play it in 2 teasers. Texas, Arkansas, 2 teasers, So the locks usually get played in 2 teasers. But the point is that I'm emphasizing is play that team. That's the one I really like. That's the one that should win. And that's kind of is what I'm trying to say. So we'll see. All right. College football playoff rankings, Oregon moves up to number 6. CFP has several problems, especially this season, but there is no quick fix. Well, they shouldn't let 6 SEC teams in when you've got Texas Tech, BYU, and Utah sitting there who could beat all these SEC teams, and you're not going to take them. You're only going to take the winner, which will be Texas Tech. That's it. BYU's fucking got 1 loss to Texas Tech. BYU can play with the SEC, and so can Utah with Dampier. Let's see. Let's see. Week 14, college football. I don't want the guys' picks. This I'm just reading. Yeah. All right. What I want to see is who needs them. Let's dive into that. Let's look at the standings like we did last week. All right, the American Athletic We got North Texas, Tulane, and Navy at 6-1. South Florida, East Car 5-2. North Texas is also 10. See, I'm a North Texas fan, Alex. You're a Texas fan. I'm a North Texas fan, and a UTSA fan, and a Texas State fan. Uh, so it looks like North Texas, Tulane, and Navy have to win the games. So North Texas 19.5 to Temple. Tulane. Now, let me write these down. I can't find them all. There's too many games to just find it. So North Texas, Tulane, and Navy. And I doubt South Florida. And there's Charlotte at 0-7, 1-10. ACC, Virginia, Pitt, SMU at 6-1. Georgia Tech fucked up, lost to Pitt. But Pitt's got Miami, so I'm not sure what happens here. If Miami wins, they're 6-2. Pitt's 6-2, and Miami beats them. So does Pitt go out? Virginia at 6-1 plays V Tech, and then SMU at 6-1, and they beat Miami. So that might knock Miami out. Virginia, Pitt, SMU. Georgia Tech's got to be out. They lost to Pitt. I don't know if Miami beats them. Georgia Tech beat Miami, I believe. And they got Georgia. Good luck on that one, fellas. The Big 12, I know that's Texas Tech and BYU. BYU, I think's out of no, BYU's got UCF. That's a conference game. And Utah and Arizona State are 6-2. Arizona State lost their quarterback. We'll get into that game. Texas Tech's like it's Ohio State, Texas Tech. It's as simple as I can. You blew out BYU and Utah. Yeah, you're right up there, number one, number two. Because Ohio State really hasn't done that. The best game was Washington, Penn State, Texas 14-7 with Arch Manning. I mean, that's like playing intramural sports. So Texas Tech, BYU, the Big Ten. It's already done. Ohio State and Indiana. Even if Michigan win, well, if Michigan wins, they go 8-1, and Ohio State goes 8-1, and Michigan beat them head up. Michigan would be playing Indiana in the conference championship game. Unbelievable. Oregon at 7-1, so they need to beat Washington. Indiana's a 30-point favorite over Purdue. So you figure Indiana's 9-0. So if Michigan beats Ohio State, they're both 8-1. And Michigan wins. I'm not sure what happens with Oregon. If they win and go to 8-1, because they didn't play Michigan or Ohio State, or they lost to Indiana. Very interesting. Terrible scheduling here. Ohio State has to win this game to get to the Big Ten championship. Because if Michigan beats them and beats Indiana, they're going to the playoffs. So unbelievable. I can't believe Michigan's 7-1 with this quarterback's terrible. So Oregon's rooting on. I don't even know if Oregon would jump Michigan. If Michigan beats Ohio State, then Oregon wins. They're 8-1, and Ohio State's 8-1, and Michigan's 8-1. But Michigan beat Ohio State. Oregon and Michigan didn't play. Oregon didn't play Ohio State, and they lost to Indiana, which doesn't matter because Indiana will be in. So, yeah, I mean, it looks like if Michigan wins, they're in the championship game with an average team and a weak schedule again, losing to USC and losing to Oklahoma, and then playing a bunch of nobodies. Terrible scheduling. Conference USA, our favorite conference. Jacksonville State, Kennesaw State, and Western Kentucky all at 6-1. Western Kentucky lost to LSU 10-7 last week. And our worst team and all the Z teams, UTEP, Sam Houston, Middle Tennessee, are in the Conference USA. Liberty, LTech, a bunch of Florida International, Missouri State. They're 5-2. They're pretty good in this conference. The MAC, do we care? We had 2 MAC games yesterday. Western Michigan's on top at 7-1. Central, Ohio, Toledo, Miami of Ohio are all 5-2. What do you do with this mess? Western played Eastern yesterday. I think they were winning. And UMass and Bowling Green. UMass. Bowling Green, where are they? Yeah, they're down at they're 2-6. UMass 0-8, 0-12. That's our team, UMass. That's our bitch. So it's CMU in Ohio. I always think of Euro Trip because Scotty's from Ohio. Toledo. And Miami of Ohio. So Ohio, Toledo, Miami of Ohio. Is there enough colleges in Ohio? Jesus Christ. All right, that's your MAC. Mountain West. I remember when it was TCU and the others. San Diego State 6-1. They're in. Then you got Boise, New Mexico, and Vegas. Boise, New Mexico, and UNLV. UNLV, I know, has Nevada. Boise, you pointed out, has Utah State. You sure you like Utah State? I'm not sure I would like Utah State there. So we'll see. That's in the Pac-12. No, there's nobody in the SEC. We've got Texas A&M. Well, there's really all right, they got Texas. We know Texas is out of it. They're 5-2, and A&M 7-0. So even if they beat them, they're going to 7-1. They're 6-2. Alabama's got Auburn at 6-1. Ole Miss has Old Mississippi State, and Georgia's done at 7-1. They got Georgia Tech. So Texas is out because they already have 2 losses, and Georgia's already done. And even if they beat A&M, it's 7-1 A&M, 7-1 Georgia. That's an over bet in the playoff. However, you got Ole Miss and Alabama playing their rivals. So if Ole Miss beats Old Mississippi State, they're 7-1. But Georgia, I think Georgia beat Ole Miss. Yeah, it was like 48-35. Another low-scoring game with Georgia. And Alabama, who did beat Georgia, has Auburn. So does Alabama go ahead of Georgia if they tie at 7-1 since they beat Georgia? Because they didn't go for the field goal on 4th down at the 20. Unbelievable. All right, hopefully this doesn't take too long. Okay, we're fine. So Alabama, I guess, wins, and then Georgia has lost to Alabama, their only loss. So then it's A&M and Alabama. And then what about Ole Miss? Does that they got Old Mississippi State. So if Alabama wins, they go ahead of Georgia. A&M can't go back because they're only got 1 loss. And then you've got, well, it's confusing because Old Miss would have 1 loss, Alabama with 1 loss, Georgia with 1 loss, and A&M with 1 loss. So picking 2 out of those 4, I'm not quite sure. if you look at the thing, Georgia's A&M's 3, Georgia 4, Ole Miss 7, and Alabama 10, because Alabama lost to Oklahoma, who's also 5-2. Vandy's 5-2. Give it to my Vandy. Poor Bobby. LSU 3-4, 7-4. What can I say, Bobby? You just couldn't handle it. You needed to be out there playing. So it looks like a four. I don't know. I'll have to Google this as far as the breakdown, but in my mind, they all four need the game, right? Well, Georgia's out. Georgia plays Georgia Tech. It doesn't matter. It's Ole Miss needs to beat Ole Mississippi State. Alabama needs to beat Auburn, and then we'll see how it goes. Will A&M beat Texas? That's the thing. So that I don't have to write down. We know. And our favorite, the Sun Belt. And the Sun Belt's the only one with still two divisions, the East and the West. Leave it to the Sun Belt. James Madison. Why aren't they the top five? Or are they? I thought Tulane was there, but James Madison's number 20. They're 7-0, 10-1. They're a good team. Now, I guess it's just the winner. So it's James Madison, and then Troy, Southern Miss are both 5-2. With Lou Lafayette 4-3. So if Troy and Southern Miss lose, Lou Lafayette has Lou Monroe, who sucks. Texas State, bad year, 2-5. So Lou Monroe's a Z team, and of course our Georgia State, who we've loved to beat, love to bet against, is the other Z team. Here's the question: if A&M loses to Texas and loses in the SEC, do they make the playoffs? Well, they beat Notre Dame, so that apparently counts for everything. Well, if they lose to Texas, are they even in the playoff? Because Georgia's got one loss. If Alabama beats Auburn and Mississippi, they all have one loss. Which two do they get in? Now, Alabama beat Georgia, but Georgia beat Ole Miss, and neither of them played A&M. None of them. None of the three. That's why A&M's undefeated. They haven't played the good teams yet. So I don't know. I don't know that answer. We'll have to Google it up. Look for the conference championships or whatever. But my guess is well, if A&M, if they get in the play, if they lose to Texas and they still get in the conference championship, and then they got what, Georgia probably, or Alabama. I don't know if they're going to beat them. And then now they got two losses. Yeah, I don't know that they would be in. We do like Marcel Reed, but we don't know. I think it comes down to record against common opponents. Yeah, well, you don't have that either, because A&M didn't play any of the one-loss teams. Georgia beat Mississippi, and Georgia lost to Alabama. Alabama didn't play A&M, didn't play Mississippi, and beat Georgia. So it's a very convoluted thing because they don't play each other. A&M hasn't played any of the big boys. And like I said, Georgia beat Mississippi and lost to Alabama. Alabama beat Georgia, and I don't think they played Ole Miss. Alabama did lose to Oklahoma, and they lost to, who did they lose to? I don't remember who they got two. They got one loss in conference. Alabama, Oklahoma. No, it was the Oklahoma game was the loss in conference, but they lost to somebody out of conference, I guess. I don't know. We'll have to go into that. Let me do my research. Troy 5-2. Okay, so Troy and Southern Miss are 5-2 to get the honor of losing to James Madison. Look at Southern Miss. I told you they got the Marshall coach and Marshall quarterback, and now they went from like 0-11 last year to 5-2. That's why the coach is critical. And that's why if I could smell out a bad coach, we bet against them. That's the struggle with Daniel Jones. He was so bad at New York, but you see the coach is bad, and then now he's at Indy. And is he really that much better? I don't know. Again, he didn't show up in the fourth quarter of Kansas City, and it's all Jonathan Taylor. So you think you would just take him away and let Daniel Jones try to beat you. All right. So it looks like James Madison's in. They don't need to win, but I think they do. They're ranked number 20. They should be in the. I'll tell you, if they're in the playoff, they will beat some of these teams. Uh, so I think your best team is really Ohio State, maybe, and then I don't even know if they're going to get into the Big Ten title game. Michigan beats them. They're tied. Michigan holds the tiebreaker. So Indiana's in for sure. Well, they got Purdue, but they're 30-point favorites. I think Texas Tech's number 2. I think we'll see how good A&M is. We really don't know. They've won one game over Notre Dame. They beat a good Arkansas team who gives up 50 points a game. I don't know. They've had a very weak schedule. We love the quarterback. Reed's very good. Texas, Arch Manning. So Texas Tech's 2. BYU's right up there. You got Alabama, Georgia, and Ole Miss, who are good, great. You've got Oregon, Indiana. I think Indiana goes after those teams. They did win at Oregon. They struggled with Penn State terribly. That was ridiculous. And, they're beating these bad teams. So you give them credit for winning at Oregon because it's hard to do. But then they're very conservative, and that's not going to win when you play in the big boys. But I think BYU and Utah should be up there, and in the ACC, I don't think you got anybody. I mean, Miami, Virginia, good. Um, Georgia Tech, they had the chance, they blew it, losing to Pitt. Let's see if they can beat Georgia. But that won't knock Georgia out of the race because that's a non-conference game. So those are your Big Ten. I don't know. I wouldn't put SMU in that category or Virginia or Georgia Tech or Miami or Pitt. None of the ACC teams. Interesting, Clemson is a road dog to South Carolina. Who would have thought that, right? We'll talk about that. So that's it. So let's get into the lines. And tomorrow I will get you into who needs it. But I think we have an idea here. It's funny how Ohio State has to win the game. If they lose the game, they're not in the Big Ten championship game. Now, with one loss, they'll still be in the playoff. Maybe, but they're not going to be conference champions. That's unbelievable, isn't it? So watch Ohio State choke as they keep doing against Michigan. All right, tomorrow, Navy and Memphis. So what I'm writing here, Navy needs the game. I don't think Memphis does. Memphis 4.5, 57.5. So it's interesting that Navy needs the game and Memphis is favored, but the line has dropped from 5.5 to 4.5. Is Navy going to look ahead to the Army game next week? And that is a conference game now, Navy Army. Then we go to Friday. We got a slew. Ohio Buffalo. Ohio needs the game. They are 744.5. Buffalo, I don't. They're not. They only beat UMass by 7 points. You got to look at that, right? Ohio, good team. E team, 23 defense. Again, I got a last. It's so hard to do college last five. I think once we get into the playoffs, I can. There's less teams. I can do last five there, but I do eyeball it. Like I showed you, Michigan and Ohio State, last five. Uh, but we really don't need to. We kind of got a feel of those teams: USC, Oregon, all those teams. We kind of have a feel without last fiving it. We see the SEC every week: Alabama, Georgia, Ole Miss. Speaking of Ole Miss 7 and 62.5 in a game they have to win because they lost to Georgia. I believe uh, they would each have one loss, but Georgia beat them. So I don't even know if Mississippi's in this or not, but they're only 7 and 62. Kent State, Northern Illinois. Kent State, the Z team. Northern Illinois, 4.5, 45.5. Now I noticed I'm in Detroit. It was very windy on my walk this morning. Very cold and very windy. I had to put my winter coat on, but it was windy, real windy. I checked the games for tomorrow. Now the first two are in domes. The Baltimore game says no wind, so we hope that stays because I don't want wind in that game. Iowa, Nebraska. Iowa 6 and 38.5. I don't know what happened to them last week against Michigan State. That was senior day. Nebraska needs a quarterback. We always look under at Iowa games, right? 38.5. Utah and Kansas. Utah 11.5, 60.5. Kansas an over team, always good quarterback Jalen Daniels, and Utah with Dampier, who's a great quarterback. If I'm a team like the Raiders, I pick up Dampier first, maybe Daggio, because he can kind of scramble good. So if I don't have a good offensive line, he's still an excellent thrower. He's an excellent quarterback, but he's very decisive and deceptive in running. So without an offensive line, he'd be the perfect quarterback, Dampier, or of course Daggio. So we'll see Utah here. Apparently, they never saw the running that Kansas State did. My friend said the coach was bitching at him. They had never seen that running play. How many running plays can you give them? And they never saw it, and they couldn't adjust to it. They kept running the same play, and they ran for 500 yards on him. And that's why you had such a big score. But it was like, are you kidding me? You can't move the linebacker over 2 feet and do that. Good coaching by Kansas State, I'll tell you that. Air Force, Colorado State, Air Force 2.5, 46.5. Air Force has turned into an under, and as far as I know, I've locked them last week. I think I had them the week before, and they're gold, Jerry. They're playing a bunch of 20-3 games. You couldn't be happier. Here you go, Temple, North Texas. North Texas needing the game. 20.5, 65. They are just explosive as shit. Temple's not bad this year. I got them as an over team, but I don't know that you can bet over. With North Texas has a very good defense, but they are very explosive also. Good coach, good offensive-minded coach. San Diego State, New Mexico. San Diego State 1.5, 41.5. San Diego State, an under team. They, I think, have won San Diego State. Yeah, they've won their conference, I believe, or maybe they need it. Well, New Mexico is also needing it. They're in there also. So we'll see. It's at New Mexico. Georgia Tech. Georgia 14, 59.5. Hasn't really moved. Georgia, we know the A team, 18, and they've been scoring, and Georgia Tech, a B team with the 24. I don't know that Georgia needs the game because it's not conference. It's just a rivalry. Look for Georgia Tech to make some noise after losing last week. Uh, Alex, Indy will lose twice to Houston. They will play twice. Well, they'll probably lose at Houston. I'm not sure if they'll lose at Indy. Jones will throw picks if he throws the ball, or it's just going to be Taylor. Arch is progressing. Got to give him some time. Yeah, he's only been there. This is his third year. He's basically a freshman. Well, what did they do the first 2 years with the guy? That didn't count. He's very disappointing. I don't know that he reads well. It throws a lot of picks. But yeah, I noticed the second half of the year they're starting to score more, which is getting our overs over. As we locked them against Arkansas, it was a beautiful lock there. Boise and Utah State. Boise 355.5. Boise has to win the game for hope to win the conference. So I'm not going to dismiss that yet. A&M in Texas. This is your free play. Go over 2.5, 51.5. Is there wind there, Alex? Are you windy in Texas? Because we're windy here, but you'd think it would have already passed. I mean, you got to love the over in this game. I mean, well, the A&M quarterback's unbelievable. Marcel Reed, I think, or Reese. He'll light it up. Texas, okay, let's give Arch Manning some time. He's progressing. Well, maybe by his 7th year he'll be ready. They should score. I don't think A&M's going to stop this offense. So this probably by halftime we'll be sitting back eating the turkey. Indiana goes to Purdue. They're number 2, 28.5, 54.5. They won't lose to this game because they have the defense. They got an 11 defense. Their closest game was the Penn State game, but then they did beat Oregon 30-21. So they can win on the road. And last but not least, Arizona State. Arizona 1.5 and 48.5. And I don't know what to do because Arizona State lost Lovett. If Lovett's playing, I'm betting this game over. And Arizona State is a home dog, but he's not. And I don't know how good the backup is. So we'll have to look at that. Let's look at the last. Well, I don't know when Levitt went out. Let's look at the last 3. And we know this is a rivalry game. So Arizona got over on our Baylor, which is all we want in every Baylor game, right? They beat Cincy 30-24. My Kansas. I don't know what's wrong with my Kansas team this year. They killed Colorado and lost to Houston 31-28. Arizona State without Levitt. I don't know when they lost them. I know he didn't play in the Texas Tech game. How they won that game, I don't know. Then they lose to Houston 24-16. They beat a good Iowa State team 24-19. They beat a shit West Virginia team at home 25-23 and beat Prime Time 42-17. So the last 2 are very weak games, but they did score a lot. Let's go into the let's go into the Iowa State game. Something that probably makes more sense. Jeff Sims is the quarterback. 13-24, 177 yards, a touchdown, a pick. Jeff Sims is a running quarterback. 29 rushes, 228 yards against Iowa State, and 2 touchdowns. Okay, now we understand. Now we got to go see who Arizona played, who's a running quarterback. And that would not be Baylor, and it would not be Cincy, and I don't think it's Kansas. God knows what Colorado is in Houston. So of these 5, they didn't play a running quarterback. Let's go further into the web. We've got Kansas State. They beat 23-17. I know their quarterback runs. Iowa State beat them 39-14. Their quarterback runs a little. Oak State, they don't even have a quarterback. BYU, their quarterback runs. BYU beat them 33-27. And then we see Houston and Colorado, Kansas. So they struggled with who everybody struggles with, BYU. BYU is money. So let's go into the Houston laws. Wegman ran 14 times for 100 yards. So they seem to have a weakness, Arizona, with these running teams. Arizona State's quarterback's going to run. So I think this game's pretty even. The Heat is good. Over, maybe an over. They're both an A team and an E team. I don't know. Tough one. Archie's forgetting. Oh, why didn't he play? They had yours who sucked. All right, let's go to Saturday. Louisville 46.5. This is, again, the rivalry game. Houston Baylor. Let's just go over. Baylor 2.5, 59.5. Houston Wegman, I don't like him that much. Baylor's having a tough year. This is the last home game, obviously. They're obviously a 31 defense. I might have to go to the Onion and get rid of the cold. So the question is, can Houston score that? Houston's more of a defensive team, the 22 defense, but the coach, Willie Fritsch, is a big defensive coach. Last week, what was that Houston score? Houston lost to TCU 17-14. TCU is pretty explosive, so it makes it hard to go over with Baylor this week, playing more of an under, a defensive, low-scoring team. You're not going to get the points from Houston that you should. They're going to play ball control and kick field goals, so it makes it very difficult to go over with Baylor this week. Now, not to say it won't, but that, and Baylor's actually favored in the game. So this isn't my lock over Baylor because they're playing another good offensive team. They're not here with Houston. Clemson, South Carolina, another rivalry. South Carolina 2.5, 46.5. I think Clemson's a live dog here. They are normally favored in this game. And I don't think Lenora Sellers is going to run all over Clemson like he ran all over Coastal Carolina last week, right? So I think Clemson's this will be their season, right? Okay. Ball State, Miami. Miami 17.5, 41.5, and Miami needs it for their conference. Ball State is a Z team. So yeah, Miami has incentive here to get there. Toledo Central. Toledo needs the game, and so does Central. So this is a playoff game. Toledo 10, 44.5. So it's hard that Toledo's 10 over Central, but Central, if they beat them, can get to the conference championship game against Western. So this is not, this is not Toledo playing a Z team like we had last week. Ohio State, Michigan 10, 44.5. We've already discussed. I think the only way to play this game's under. I don't think you can play Ohio State -4. If Michigan wins this game and they've won the last 4, again, we can't buck red. If red's hitting 4 times in a row, I'm betting red, not black. So I really can't bet Ohio State -4 because I can't trust they're going to win. They couldn't win with Chip Kelly last year. So this is not. It's the game's in Ann Arbor. This is not a place to start betting Ohio State laying 4. I can't take Michigan +16. I'm not betting against Ohio State. So I think it's an over and under, and I think you just got to go under in this game. You can't go over with Ohio State with the 7 defense, right? It's 44.5, so you get 50. 7 touchdowns in this game. I find that hard to believe. A lot of field goals, but Michigan does have this tough defense. Michigan will stop the run, and that's why they keep beating them. And Michigan runs down Ohio State's throat, which is why Ohio State also keeps losing. Because if you can run on them, that's the key to beating them. It's the key to beating anybody. Iowa State 14, 46.5 against the Z team, Oak State. Colorado, Kansas State 17.5, 49.5 against Colorado, who's basically a Z team. They score a little bit more. Kansas State, the way they played Utah, Jesus Christ, if they do that here, they'll put up 100 points. Texas Tech, West Virginia. Texas Tech 23, 53.5. Go Texas Tech. Do they need the game? I think they're in. Yeah, they're in. They don't need it except for they're our number 5, and they want to make sure they're in the playoff. They have that loss to Arizona State. West Virginia W with the 29. If Texas Tech doesn't win this game by 40, I'll be shocked. East Carolina, Florida Atlantic. East Carolina 7 and 66. God, with the runny nose. East Carolina 766. They're the A team with the 18 defense. Florida Atlantic's an over team. I don't know if we get an over with an 18 defense, right? You want 30 defenses to go your over. Miami and Pitt, Miami 7, 50.5. Now, this is unusual because Pitt just killed Georgia Tech, and they're at home, and they're getting 7 points to Miami, who's been done by Louisville and SMU. I don't know. Pitt might be live here. I don't really trust Miami. Delaware 4.5, 55.5 over Utah. Cares. Florida International 9.5, 51.5 to Sam Houston. Sam Houston, by the way, is the Z team. So we'll take a look at Florida International. UCF, BYU 17-47. They're the A team. UCF is an under. They're not very good, 22. Georgia Southern, Marshall 8.5, 63.5. This is an over game. You got 2 over teams, 230 defenses, and we know Georgia Southern put up an 85 playing Coastal Carolina. Here they get Marshall, who is pretty what did they do last week? I think they played it over also. Do, do, do. Where are you, Marshall? Just a second. Marshall, App State. App State beat them 26-24. The over was 56, was a 50, and it hit 50. So they're not necessarily. That was a weird game. They should have killed them, and they didn't. So we'll watch this game. Western Kentucky, Jacksonville State, Western Kentucky, 3:55.5. This is a playoff game. They both need it. So you got a home dog and a playoff game. Tech, Missouri State, 2.5, 48.5. Over Tech, Missouri State is not in the playoff. Georgia State, Old D, just on principle, it's Georgia State. We always go against them. Old D, 27, 58.5. Georgia State, the Z team with the 40 defense. And Old D is I think they're an over team with the 20. No, they might be an A team. Yeah, Old D, I think, is an A. They should score. It's 26. They got to win by 20, over 20. We'll take a look at that. Arkansas State, App State. App State, 2.5, 54.5. Texas State, 9.5, 62.5. Over South Alabama. Texas State, our over team, 32 defense. We'll see South Alabama. UAB and Tulsa, 8.5, 58.5. UAB, the over team here, but a 38 defense. Lou Monroe, Lou Lafayette, 9.5, 48.5. Lou Monroe's the Z team. Lou Lafayette, who actually I thought needed the game. Maybe not. 9.5 against the Z team. It is a rivalry, I guess, for the Lou's, Louisiana's. 9.5 against the Z team. We'll see about Lou Lafayette. Shut up. Middle Tennessee, New Mexico State. Middle Tennessee, the Z team, and New Mexico State's the W. Mexico State, 4 and 52.5. BC, Syracuse. BC, 3, 52.5. Syracuse, the Z team there. They lost by 100 points to Notre Dame. I told my friend that. I said, Notre Dame's winning by 100. He said, what's the real score? Well, okay, they're up 70. BC, a W, and 34. Not. I don't know what to tell you in this game. Kennesaw State, Liberty. I don't get a line on this. I'll do scores on that later. Troy and Southern. For some reason, Kennesaw State doesn't come into this database, so every week I never get a line on the game. Troy, Southern Miss. Southern Miss, 6.5, 50.5. They're the good team. Troy. This is Sun Belt, so they've already. I think this is to see who plays. This is a playoff game to see who loses to James Madison. Cincinnati, TCU, 3.5, 57.5. I think Cincinnati's a live dog here. I don't know. They looked good against Kansas and Iowa State, and then they fell off when they played the Texas Techs, the BYU, the Utahs. So this is doable for them, I believe. Missouri, Arkansas, Missouri 2.5, 55 and a. Pribula actually did play last week somehow. Played the whole game, didn't do much, but it was Oklahoma's defense. But I was shocked that he played. He dislocated his ankle, and it's healed in 2-3 weeks. Wow. Missouri, a B team, 20 defense. Arkansas, the over team, the 32. They'll light up Missouri. Missouri will light up Arkansas. 55 is a kind of a low over for an Arkansas game, eh? Vandy and Tennessee. Tennessee 3 and 65. Yeah, they'll be over at halftime. Oregon, Washington. Oregon is 751 and a half. Oregon just beat USC. Okay, they're good at home. Washington, I gotta believe they're a live home dog to Oregon. They've always had their number, and Oregon will be a little flat after beating SC. I don't know how good they are. They barely beat Iowa. They lost to Indiana. So they're okay, but they're not the regular Oregon. I think Washington gives them a game here. Wisconsin, Minnesota. Minnesota 1.5, 37 and a half. Good game here. Oklahoma 10, 36 and a half to Bobby, LSU. LSU stinks, but they have a good defense. Oklahoma, decent offense, good defense. Should be a defensive game, right? This is probably where we're at with that. Penn State, Rutgers. All of a sudden, Penn State's playing again. 13 and a half, 56 and a half. So which Penn State team shows up? They've been just running the ball, so look for them to continue that. Wake Forest and Duke. Duke 1.5, 55 and a half. Duke is over team with the 30 defense. Wake's a B with the 20. Wake's pretty good. Wake's 8 and 3. They're probably a live dog there. Army and UTSA. UTSA 7.5, 52 and a half. Army under with the 22. UTSA over with the 30. I don't know. Army will probably run, and UTSA will throw. Hard to see which way the game goes. Could be an over. It's only 52. UTSA will score. Here's James Madison, 21.5, 53 and a half to Coastal Carolina. They're the team without the loss. They're the 20th ranked team. Very good A team. Again, we stay away from Coastal Carolina. We're looking for the bitches, the Z teams. When we get a Coastal Carolina Z team, we want to bet them, but not necessarily against South Carolina and not against James Madison. You don't fuck with James Madison. Florida, Florida State, Florida 1.5, 50 and a half. I got to believe Florida State's a live dog here, as bad as they are. I don't see anything with Langway in Florida. Oregon State, Washington State, who cares? Washington State, 13.5, 41 and a half. They both suck. Oregon State's the Z team. Rice in South Florida. South Florida, 27 and a half and 60. Rice a W with the 29. South Florida scores a ton. Again, they're the ones that beat Boise and Florida and then lost to Miami. They just score so much. I gotta check Rice to see if Rice will score. I can go over. If they can't score, I'm taking South Florida. Maryland, Michigan State 4, 48 and a half. They stink. They played Iowa good somehow. I don't know. The backup quarterback's better than the starter. Virginia Tech. Virginia needs this game, I believe. They're 9.5, 52 and a half. They're the A team. Virginia Tech is the W team. Roll Virginia. Charlotte and Tulane. Tulane 30 and 53 and a half. Charlotte, the Z team. Tulane needs I think they need. Does Tulane need the game? Where did I go? Yeah, Tulane needs the game to win their division, and it's against the Z team. So we'll check on Tulane. Alabama against Auburn. Alabama is 6 and 46.5. I mean, I think you got to take Alabama, but it's just like the Michigan Ohio State. It's a rivalry game. It's at Auburn. Um, maybe you go over or under on the game. Auburn's an under team with a 20 defense. Alabama's pretty stingy. Probably a low scoring like Michigan Ohio State. And again, you think you want Alabama, but you're not sure. They got killed to Oklahoma, who's a team similar Auburn's defense. So we're not sure yet. USC 21-59 to UCLA. UCLA, I don't know how to rank them. They've had like 3 seasons. They sucked in the beginning. They beat Penn State, Maryland, Michigan State, lost to Indiana, Ohio State, and Washington, and now gets USC. The question is, can they score, or is this an over? I don't know. Northwestern Illinois. Illinois 744.5, down from 47. The Western's playing very good ball lately. Illinois just lost to fucking Wisconsin, I believe. Northwestern played very well against Michigan. See, that's what keeps me from taking Michigan against Ohio State. Michigan barely beat Northwestern, and they barely beat there was another game in there. They did beat Washington, but they did use the USC. But they beat Penn State, and they struggled with Nebraska. And there was a couple of games that they didn't really, you beat Northwestern on the last-second field goal for 22-21. Wow. I had the under in that game. But Northwestern's better than we think. We've got North Carolina State. It's not a rivalry. I don't know why this is last. NC State 7.5, 47.5. Belichick, he'll design something. North Carolina State's the over team here. North Carolina's under. SMU goes to Cal. Now, that's not that bad because they're in Texas. SMU 13.5, 52.5. SMU needs the game, I believe, for the ACC. Hard to believe SMU's in the ACC. What's that all about, right? There's not enough in Texas, the Big 12. So A&M, the A team with the 20, Cal and E team 25. They just lost to Stanford in the Cal-Stanford game with no band and no John Elway. Vegas, Nevada, another rivalry game. Vegas 7.5, 53.5. They're the O team with the 31 defense. Nevada's the Z with the 28. I would think Vegas beats the Z team. Notre Dame, Stanford. Notre Dame's favored by 32. What a schedule they're playing. 49.5. You got to go over. Notre Dame is going to kill them again, but it's hard to lay the 30 points. But Notre Dame, if they lose, they're out of the playoff. They have to win, and they're gonna again score 70 points because it's the only way they can get in the playoff. Because if Miami wins, Miami beat Notre Dame, by the way. A&M beat Notre Dame, by the way. And then they played only USC was the only team who's really an offensive team. Stanford, the W with the 29. Look for Notre Dame to kill them. Fresno State, San Jose State. Fresno State is 346.5. They're the under team. San Jose State, the W is the 32. I think this is pretty much a rivalry game also. They're both close to San Jose in California. I don't know. San Jose State's not very good, but this is the game I lost in Vegas. Fresno State was laying 7. I bet it, and it was on the teaser card. And then I wake up Saturday morning, they're laying 11. And then I went back to the teaser card and put some more bets in, -1. And San Jose State won the game. So you can't trust the line movements. Wyoming, Hawaii 7.5, 44.5. I don't know, and I don't care. Hawaii's pretty good. Wyoming's the under team. Yesterday, Bowling Green 45, UMass 14. They win by 31. Hey, they beat UMass again. And again, they seem to give up 40 points. Half the games they lost 42-6. This one was 45-14. The W team, Bowling Green on the road, beats them by 30. In our other game, Western does win 31-21 to win the MAC, or half the MAC, right? Eastern, not a bad team, but Western, an under team with an 18 doesn't look like an under team, putting up 31 points. So when the shit's on the line, you're a little bit better than the under team. And that's it. So those are your games. I had to go through 2 pages this time. Normally it's been 1 page and it's been a little bit over full. So I do my sheets, right? And then normally this is everything, but I had to add this sheet because there's so many fucking games this weekend. Now, then it gets in. This is the last weekend of this where there's so many. Next week, there's a few Mountain West games, I believe. Army Navy's the week after. And then you got the conference championship games. So you don't like the conferences drop off. So your free play here is A&M Texas over, and it's tomorrow. It's Friday. I'm sorry, Friday night. I have one lock. I'm sure I've went through another at least 1 or 2 more locks, and I have a lock going in the pros. So my advice is I am playing 3 games Thursday, including a lock. So my advice is to the normal buyers. You probably want to buy either tonight or early Thursday morning. I hate to see you miss a lock, and it should be a very good weekend. I will post more games. Right, this is a very quick week for me because not only am I trying to do last 5 in the pros and kind of fine tune them because I'm a little confused in the pros with some of the results. Although we did go 8-2 last week in the pros, we wanna like last 5 it and really fine tune it, like we see where Minnesota is now a 27 defense and Washington's now a 34 defense. So it definitely matters from the whole year to let's look at the last 5. But then we got to verify it's not a Baltimore where they're playing the Jets and Miami and the Bears and a bunch of nobodies. So we got to see that. We got Joe Burrow coming back with Chase. You can't ignore that. It's Joe fucking Burrow. All right. And I hope he doesn't get injured. I'm tired of him getting injured. He made us so much money at LSU. He was so nice of him. That was like over city every week, over. They'd score like 50 points, even against Alabama, Georgia. They'd put up a 50. Well, you had Chase and Jefferson. I mean, you should put up a 50, right? So you get him back. So again, Green Bay, Detroit, first game, and KC, Dallas, a good game. Dallas playing well. Cincinnati, Baltimore, where you got Burrow back and Lamar. Lamar is injured again. He's got like a toe injury. He seems to be injured with new injuries: his knee, his leg, his toe, his arm is always an injury. So you see that with him. So we have to look at that. Anyway, then we got a bunch of games Friday in college, and then our big Saturday. So I'm losing time that I normally have till at least Thursday, Friday to look, and then make my decisions. And here I'm like, I got 3 games tomorrow and 10 games on Friday. There's a ton of college. Why would they play Navy Memphis on Thanksgiving? I mean, it's done at like 2 o'clock. You've got, the Detroit game and the Kansas City Dallas game. Ain't nobody going to be watching. It's on like Amazon or whatever, or ESPN or something. It's just stupid. All three of the Thursday games are on regular TV. So why is that? Why aren't they on NFL Network or that? Because they're good team. You want more people to watch it. All these games should be on regular TV. Because if you think people are paying money to watch a game that you can watch 50 games during the weekend, you're out of your mind. Nobody's going to the NFL Network to watch the London game of Jacksonville and Atlanta. I mean, fuck, nobody wants to see it anyway, but nobody's going to pay for it. I think I showed you that video on Vegas on what really happened, and it was Macau versus Vegas. And Macau has all the table games, doesn't give you resort fees, doesn't give you parking. It's all that. And it's basically, we want the gamblers. And what they're saying with Vegas is they're trying to get multiple revenue. They're trying to get revenue from the parking and the resort fees and the food. And that is what misses the boat. There is no market for that. Nobody wants to pay for parking, period. Nobody wants to pay for these resort fees, period. So to try to get money, to make money off of these things as if they're revenue streams, show me the market that says people want to pay for parking and they want to get bullshitted on their hotel rooms. Show me the market where they want to overpay for food and drinks. Show me that market because it doesn't exist. So why do they think they can make money on those when there's no market? There's no demand for it. Say's law, we create the demand. We make our money, we spend it, we create the demand. That's it, period. Bottom line. We create the market, not you. You can't create a market. You can't say, well, I'm going to charge for parking as if there's a market for it. You can't create a market. We are the only ones that can create a market. Say's law. We make money working and then we spend the money. And it's our decision of how we want to spend our money. That's the market. And that's where, is there a market? Does anybody want to pay $40 a day for parking? No. Do we want to buy $30 hamburgers at Gordon Ramsay's? No, fuck him. It's a hamburger, right? Do we want to pay an extra $50 for hotel rooms? No, we don't want to pay. We want to stay at Caesars for $39 a night. We don't want to spend that. And apparently they haven't kept up with the maintenance, and that's what the rooms are probably worth, $39 a night, because they're all old and dusty, and the bathrooms are smelly. Caesars is not what it used to. It's not a luxury hotel right now. I wouldn't even stay there, but it's not worth it. Who knows maintenance? Who knows all that? Because they're all cutting costs because they're all going broke. So it's not the place to go. But again, we're the ones that create the market. We're the ones that say, this is what we want. You can make brown shirts if there's a market for brown shirts. You can't make brown shirts and we all want green and blue and yellow and red, right? You can't make there's no market for electric cars. This is what I've been bitching about. There's no market for it. Nobody wants it. Nobody's saying, hey, make me an electric car. We're fine with the car that goes on gas. And I pull into a gas station and there's a million gas stations and I fill up my car. I don't want an electric car. I don't need an electric car. I got to constantly worry about getting on fire, about my electricity being turned off, trapped in the car, about finding a charging station. If I drive 3 hours, how long will my battery last? Which we know batteries don't last. And if I own the car in the beginning and then 6 months later, I'd be charging my battery every day. I don't have time to charge batteries. There's no demand for the product. What are you doing? Why are you Oh, the government's going to mandate it. Bullshit. We mandate, not they. So that's what Vegas tried to do, was come up with their own market out of thin air. Well, we'll look at it as, oh, we can make more money by charging these things, even though you can't. Yeah, you can do it to the first time customer. The guy flies from Australia to Vegas to see it, and he gets hit with these things. He's like, well, what am I going to do? I'm here. I just won't come back. I don't want to pay $40 for parking. Um, I think the only place you do is like downtown New York or downtown Chicago, where you're there on business, not on pleasure. Um, so I know Chicago's got a lot of parking. That's mafia, and same with New York. But that's the problem. It's you're trying to create things that there's no market for. And that's why Vegas, you're not going. And then the gambling, they're missing the point that they're casinos. Well, we'll have this the ball, and we'll have these clubs. I'm not going for a club. I don't go to Vegas to club. I don't go to Vegas to see a sphere. I don't mind seeing Circus Soleil once in a while, but I don't mind seeing Don Rickles type of, a cheap comedian or singer or something that isn't going to cost me $500. Um, but I'm there to gamble, and I'm there to eat, and I want to eat cheap, and I want to, there was a thing I saw in alcohol, and people serve alcohol to get you loose and relax, and your inhibitions go away, and you'll gamble a lot more. Uh, Also, sexually, you're at a bar, you get the girl a drink, so she loosens up, and then she'll go out with you. But I mean, in Vegas, they want you gambling, and well, they used to, right? And let's give them free drinks, get them liquored up, and we'll make all this money gambling. But now you've killed that. You're paying for the drinks. What could possibly be the reason to charge for drinks? Well, if it's $20, people aren't going to pay for it, right? So you're not going to get them drunk, so they'll gamble more and lose more. So that's a real stupid play there. You can't try to make money on drinking. We can go to a convenience store, CVS is there, and I can go buy beer or vodka, whatever, and drink that if I need to drink. But if I'm in the casino gambling, I'm at a slot machine. If I'm at blackjack, I want to have a drink while I'm playing. You've taken that away. So what are you doing? So these people are very clueless. Who's running it now? They are driving it into the ground, and they're all going broke and bankrupt. So I don't. And this Formula One was a disaster. People, you're blocking entrances for a lot of people. They don't want to go. They can't get around. They can't get to their stores like the regular businesses because they block a whole area around the strip. How many people are really interested in F1 racing? And if you have it out in the desert somewhere. You don't put it on the strip, that ruins your business. So, okay, but are people really flying in for the F1 formula? There's no other place they can go for the F1 formula but Vegas. Really? So that's the first problem. How do you generate revenue? You're just standing there watching the cars go around and around. Oh, you want to charge for the ticket? Well, sorry, I'm here. See, we would go to gamble. I would go to play poker, watch the Michigan Ohio State game Thanksgiving weekend. I'd be there, watch the game, play poker. That's why I went, and then I'd eat, and I'd have some drinks and eat, and go shopping, and go to the forum shops and see all the statues move and everything else. That's why I would go to Vegas. You've killed that. The sports betting is ridiculous. MGM, the odds are terrible. 13-10 for a teaser. You're out of your fucking mind. Um, the um, the food's very expensive. We're not going to eat gourmet food. We're there to gamble. And so you've taken the gamblers out of it, and you've got it replaced by these people, these selfie people, right? Oh, look at me. I'm here. I'm there. I'm in Vegas. But they don't gamble. The club people don't gamble. How much can you make on the club? Believe me, you can make a lot more at the casino than at the club. Um, Okay, you go to Circus Soleil, but again, these seminars and conferences by the corporations, they don't gamble. So you've taken a casino-laden environment and brought in a bunch of people that don't gamble. Seminars here and conferences and Formula One and let's go to the Sphere and all that is stupid. It doesn't bring in the gamblers. So Macau said, "Oh, we'll take the gamblers," and they're junking them in and they're giving them comps and everything else. Come to Macau. Macau is booming, as I showed you yesterday. They're like 300 billion in revenue, and Vegas is like 20 billion in revenue, if that. But there's too much rooms, too much competition there. Um, so they really lost it. The Wall Street people have no concept about a casino. They just look at it as, can we make money charging parking? You don't have no demand. You can't make money charging for parking because there's too many casinos and you don't even understand that. You don't even understand it keeps people away from the casino, which is the bread and butter of Vegas. And you've turned it into a non-gambling place. Why the fuck would you do that? I mean, what are you, incredibly stupid or what? I mean, I just don't understand that. So that's really the problem with Vegas. They are turning away the gambler. The gambler wants to eat cheap and drink and wants to gamble. And that's where you make your money. You don't make money on a $50 hamburger. You make your money on a $5 hamburger. And then the people come in and gamble. What you're doing is chasing everybody out. And I noticed that years ago when I went for the Michigan Ohio State game in the play in the play poker. It was 10 o'clock on a Friday night, like this Friday, right? And there was no restaurant open. I had to go to like the souvenir shop to get a bag of chips or something. So I went across the street. There was either a Denny's or a CVS, and I ate dinner. I mean, are you kidding me? So I had to leave the casino. The only reason I came back is I was playing poker. If I wasn't playing poker, I wouldn't have come back. What are you doing? Why would you want people out of your casino? And the shopping was closed. Everything was closed. It was 10 o'clock on a Friday. What? This is Vegas. It's 24 hours. So that's all I can say is they're pushing the gambler away in a casino. Who can be this stupid? Apparently, Wall Street is. They don't get. You're going to make a lot more on gambling than you would, but you can't charge $100 for blackjack and think you're going to make it. You're chasing everybody away. Your market's too high. The market is here. This is why I always do this. The market's here, and we'll play $5 blackjack, but we'll play it for hours, and we're going to drink and eat and shop. Oh no, we're going to raise it to $50 blackjack. There's nobody there, so your table just sits there. The dealer just sits there with their thumb up her butt, and there's nobody playing because nobody wants to play because there's no market for $50 blackjack. Even if uh, Bobby went to play, and he's a millionaire. He gets $1 million a year from the Mets. Even if he wanted to play, he's not playing $50 blackjack. He'll play $5 blackjack and give you $500, but he's not going to play $50 blackjack. That's not his thing. So you're keeping him off the table. And just because he's a whale doesn't mean he wants to play $50 or $100 blackjack. So the whole mindset's stupid. You know who you're going to get? You're going to get the sharks playing $50 blackjack, who are going to take you for $1 million because they know how to play, versus the people that don't know how to play, you're not even letting get to the table. This is possibly the stupidest management I've ever seen in my life. And if they're just going off the analytics of Wall Street saying do this and do that, good luck. The economy is just shot. Let's see what our gold's doing now. $41.70. We're approaching 42. This will be open, even though with Thanksgiving, the U.S. won't play. But see, now look at this bullshit, right? It was 41.70 at 8 o'clock. No, about 7:30. And then it takes a tank just before 8. Then it goes up at 8 o'clock. Then it tanks by 10 o'clock so they can buy it cheap. And then it runs back to 41.70. So what the fuck is this? Why would it do that? Okay, you're selling an option, you're selling a bunch of options, and then you're buying. I mean, what is this? This is just horseshit. This isn't what it's being. Oh, look at silver, 53.22. Here we go. Here we go, our silver people, 53.22. And silver is gone, basically. So this should be 500 soon because demand, no supply. The supply is gone because a lot of people have been buying, like, we might own 50, 100 ounces of gold, but we own 1,000, 2,000 ounces of silver. And there's not that much silver that everybody can own 1,000, 2,000, but because it was so cheap, you'd buy a lot. I never thought I'd buy silver. I just was buying gold, but when I had little nickel dimes, 300 here, 500 there, I'd go buy a 20 ounce. How many 20 ounces of silver did I buy? It was $20 times 20. So it's $400, $500 to buy a 20. I can't tell you how many of those I bought because they didn't have ounces of gold. And, I had 500, 600. Okay, give me a 20 ounce of silver. So we have a lot more silver than we do gold in ounces. Now, these bars, I don't know. I never had enough money to buy a bar of gold. A bar of silver I could have bought, but I'd rather have the 20 ounce here and there. So I know our guy has bars he got in a will. So what's that? Prophet's got a bunch of the big Egyptian bars of gold. So he's a happy camper now. So we got 41.70 and 53.20. So it's starting to move. Both of these are gone. They're China's got 80,000 tons. BRICS probably a total another 50, 60,000 tons. So most of the 200,000 tons is gone as more banks want it. So everybody goes, oh, the central bank has it. Well, yeah, maybe, but I don't. It's not just the central banks. It's the shadow banks, and then it's the people. And so the people are the ones who are buying it, but nobody knows. So if we go buy 20 ounces of gold, everybody here, nobody knows we bought it. It's not going to affect the price. If we all bought a ton, which is 32,000 ounces is a ton. So if we all bought a ton of gold, which we could never afford, it would be it wouldn't move the price because the price isn't based on the market. It's based on this stupid derivatives. However, because we understand that, we can go buy it and they're holding the price down for us. So thank you very much. The price is blowing up. You can see by all these wars, the US is bankrupt, as is England, as is Germany and France and all of Western Europe, as is Canada. It's all Australia. They're all broke. They're all bankrupt. So don't get confused. If you have 500,000 of these that are worth zero, it's still zero. You own stock. You got 401. Everybody goes to work, gets this 401k option, and everybody takes it because they get a company match of 3 or 4 or 5%. So you get the company match, and what are you going to do with it, right? Oh, so I got it. Well, you can't get out of it, and it's worthless now. So you might have $400,000 or $500,000 in your 401k, but because it's in dollars, it's worthless. Your Bitcoin, well, I don't know what it's worth now. It was 85,000. So it was 120. Now it's 85. Oh, welcome to Bitcoin. Welcome to Ponzi scheme. But it's in dollars. So when the dollar goes out, Bitcoin's worthless, but not gold and not silver because they are money and they're not related to the dollar. Doesn't matter. The value of the dollar will not affect the value of the gold and silver. That will have its own value. So that's what people don't get. So when the dollar goes out, gold goes up 5 times, 10 times, because it will be the only money, and the demand for money will be huge. People don't get it. The financial system's crashing. No, it isn't. The medium of exchange is collapsing. This This is worthless. Just replace it with a gold backed currency or a silver backed currency. The market and the economy, or the market anyway, the financial market is fine. You go to work, you get paid, you take the money, you spend it. That's the market. It's the medium of exchange that's fucked up. So just give us a new medium of exchange that actually has a value. This smells like George Soros all over the place, where he's trying to ruin the economy to get back for the Nazis losing World War II. I mean, that's exactly what this sounds like. And it's ridiculous because none of these people should ever do that. This is like going for fourth and goal at the 5 and a tied like Dallas. The game's tied 21 all. There's a minute left. Yeah, let's not kick the field goal. We'll go for it. Are you like the stupidest coach in the world? Or like we saw the Dallas Philly game where the guy did the same thing. He didn't kick the field goal. He didn't kick the field goal. He went for it on fourth down, the Lion game with the Giants. You're up 3, kick the field goal, go up 6. No, I'm going to go for it. You know what your odds on getting it are? Like 0. You're not getting it at late in the game when Detroit's not going to give you a touchdown. So anyway, it's the same strategy. Why would you ruin your money supply? Is there any reason you would short it to 0? No. Why would you? And then what are you going to use? Smarty pants? Well, we don't have any gold. Oh yeah, we have gold in Fort Knox. Okay, why aren't we using it? Explain that to me, Batman. We have gold in Fort Knox. We're not using. We owe 38 trillion in debt. Our economy's collapsed. The prices of goods, not inflation, are going up because the dollar is worth nothing. So as the dollar loses value, it needs more dollars to buy the goods. That's not inflation. Inflation is the dollar has no value. But as the prices go up, but is there buyers for the prices? So I saw steaks on sale for $13. They used to be 20. There's no buyer at $20. So just because the dollar collapses doesn't mean you can raise prices on everything. And then getting people to have money to do it. These banks are going to collapse because people are huge in credit card debt that they'll never be able to pay off. They probably don't care. They just keep charging. And the banks aren't going to get paid back, even though it's just money that grew on, it just came out of thin air. But the banks will be in trouble. And, they're repoing houses and cars and repoing these big office buildings. There's nobody working there. No businesses work at the office anymore. You might have your Walmarts and your Kroger's where you're going into the store where the inventory is, but the accountants, the finance, the IT people, they're all working from home. Or they should be. There's no reason to be in an office. There never has been. Why? So you can say you can see I'm there and I'm working. Like you're so worried about me working and controlling me. Just leave me alone. Let me get my work done. If I don't, fire me. If I do, then shut the fuck up. All right. So that's why we buy gold and silver, because we can't lose. They can't go down. They can only go up. They've been repressed, so the value is 10 times cheaper than it should be. So gold should be 40,000 now because they keep repressing it. And silver should be at least 1,000 an ounce right now, but they keep it. Oh, it's 50. Oh, we're going down. Why is it going down? Because some idiot's shorting it because it went up too much. It's money, not stock. So, we want to get to the real prices. We can't lose if we buy only physical, not ETFs and not stocks. Stop buying stocks, please. You want to go broke? Go broke. But I ain't going to let you go broke. Just buy physical gold and silver. If you need to, like here, I bought a 1/10 of an ounce. Merry Christmas. A 1/10 of an ounce silver, $450. Fine. I don't care. When gold hits 10,000, this will be 1,000 an ounce. But I'm not doing it to make money. It's the side. It happens to make money, but that's not what I'm doing. I'm getting out of this and going into this. I'm getting out of something that is worthless for something that has a great value going up. This is a no-brainer. This is a very easy Rumpelstiltskin, turning this into gold. That's the very simple, no risk, and I'm going to make money. So not only am I not going to lose by holding this, I'm going to gain holding this. So it's a double because I don't lose holding the dollar. But if you hold dollars, you've got to realize they're not worth anything. You cannot print and print and print. We have a $38 trillion debt. We have a defense spending thing that's through the roof. We have Social Security and Medicare. I mean, this is it. I mean, we can't afford it. We spend more than we make. You can't spend more than you make. You can only spend what you make. And this is all. So your only out is this and silver. That's it. That's your only out. You have no other option. I mean, you can buy a Mantle card and a Rolex, as I say, and a Picasso and my Van Gogh. You can buy those, but they're still, you need it to turn it into money. Now let's talk about barter. Some of these people don't understand what barter is. Barter is not taking silver to the grocery store or the restaurant. That's not barter. That's paying with money. Barter would be taking my Canadian club taking this to Kroger's and buying food. Barter is taking an asset, you're trading an asset for another asset, right? For food. Or taking this to the restaurant and going and eating. Let's say this has $100 value and going and eating $100 meal, or two $50 meals, whatever. That's what barter is. Using silver is not barter because it's money. It's just the same as using this. There's no difference between this and this to pay to go to the restaurant. There's no difference. They'll take this because they're idiots, but I would take this at the barbecue place I go to. He'll take this in a heartbeat. But this is the difference. This goes to, but neither of these are barter. These are both money. And if you're using money, it isn't barter. Barter is assets. Barter would be, taking not a Mantle card. Maybe you take maybe take a Willie Mays card or something. That's dinged. But that's using an asset to buy food or clothes or something else. That's what barter is. As far as barter with me and you, send me silver and I'd give you something of value that is silver. So that would be fine. Anyway, well, that's about it. 2 hours. So that's the key with what's going on all over the world, except for BRICS. BRICS is going to a gold-backed currency if they haven't already, but they're not going to announce it. They're not going to. China's not going to say, "Hey, we got a gold-backed currency." They're very quiet about it, as is Russia, as is India and Saudi Arabia and South Africa and Brazil. All the BRICS countries have a ton of gold, and they're backing their dollar with it. The yuan, like this, will never be a reserve currency, and nobody wants it. Only if it's backed by gold. And then it's really the gold that's the reserve currency, not the yuan. The yuan being backed by gold is what gives the yuan value. If this was backed by gold or this was backed by gold, it isn't the paper that has the value. It's that it's worth, you can exchange it for gold and or silver. That's the value. If this was a silver certificate and worth €5 of gold or silver, that would give it the value, not the paper. So all this, all over the world, has no value. It's worthless. The euro, the British pound, the Canadian and Swiss, even the China, Russia, and everything, all theirs, Japan, all their paper currencies are worthless. So don't think, the yuan, I'm going to get that. Don't get that. It's worthless. All you can do is buy the gold and silver, and you'll be fine. You won't be hurt. Keep it in a safe place, and don't tell too many people around you that you have it, because they will panic when the times are tough. They will panic. and that's where we're headed. Now, yesterday I went to the grocery store, and I think I told you yesterday, it was packed. It was like 9:30 because I wanted to come before class. It was packed. I mean, there's how you get all the carts, and when it's really really crowded, there's no cart. Well, there was like 3 carts when I got there. It was packed in the store. So I don't know about a recession or people just don't give a fuck and they're saying it's Thanksgiving and people had full carts, which must have cost them $500 for groceries. So they're getting ready for Thanksgiving. We have the Lions here, so this was a Myers that was just packed. You had your sales. Um, I needed a few items. I already bought my roast, so I'm having a roast for Thanksgiving. Nice 3 pound roast on sale, $8.99. It was $11.99. Uh, so I'll cook that up. I don't know, 4 hour waiting. I can't buy a 10 pound turkey, and what am I going to eat for the next week? Turkey, and I don't want to wait 4 hours to broil to bake it either. So a roast is 75 minutes at about 315, 320. You put a little olive oil, a little Italian dressing, salt and pepper on it. It's good to go. And I have roasts. So instead of 3 pounds of hamburger, I have 3 pounds of roast. And I got to watch my feet, so I got to be careful with it. That's where I get the gout. I eat that, and I eat 3 pounds, and then it doesn't leave my system. Right now, my feet and back are fine, so I got to keep this going. Just did a 90-hour fast last week, Wednesday to Saturday. You saw me staring at the walls Saturday morning. So when we finished, I ate pretty good. Um, anyway, but I'm glad I did it. I highly recommend it. All you need is that once you get past that first day, you've gone 24 hours and you get to sleep and you wake up and it's already about 40 hours. That's what you need to do. Anyway, I think that's about it. The football again, I got a lot going tomorrow in all three plays. I gave you your free play, Philadelphia over the Bears. I gave you your college free play, Texas A&M over only 51, which is 45 in Teaser World. So unless there's a hurricane or tornado in Texas, and Alex better tell me that, this line's ridiculous. A&M scores 40 a game. Texas has no defense. Oklahoma, I'd be worried about with their defense, but not Texas. And that's what we've got. So again, studying up, I'll have a lot of good pro plays. I can see at least one lock and possibly two, and then another couple of locks in college. I've been really hot on my locks anyway. Last week I was 7-1 on my locks. Only the Tennessee over I lost. I had 6 locks in college. I go 5-1, 2-0 in the pro. So 7-1 in my locks. And like I said, I'm just getting into it because now I know the teams better. Now I can do the 5-teamer or the last 5 games to really, like Washington Redskins they went from a 27 defense to a 34 defense. And they didn't play all the explosive teams. So then we see, like for example, let's look at the 3 teams and that'll be it. So the Rams are an 18 with a 15 defense. New England is New England's an 18 with a 19 defense. Indy is an 18 with a 21 defense. But now we know what they are. Now winning in Kansas City, Baltimore couldn't do it. Philly got lucky to do it. Detroit couldn't do it. It's very hard to win in KC, so I'm not surprised Indy didn't win there. But I'm not saying Indy's a bad team. So the problem with Indy, the problem with New England, they're not proven. They haven't won the big game because they've had such the weak schedule, like the Bears. The Bears schedule is a joke. One Lion game, they lost by 50. They still have 2 Green Bays and a Lion. Here's the Philadelphia game. What are the odds on them winning this game? Yeah, they're not going to sneak it out with Caleb running around. Jalen Carter will make sure he doesn't do shit. And then in college, they need it for the conference titles and the playoff and all that. So that's what we're looking at. So it should be a huge week. I've been red hot the last 2 or 3 weeks. I've been really hot. Um, Maybe I think the last 6 weeks, I think I was like 5 really good weeks and one kind of strange week where I didn't have the matchups, and then they're fumbling punts and stuff on us. But again, that's all part of it. The fumbled punt, all that. There's nothing you can do. You can't handicap it. This is if everything goes the way it should. This is the result we should get. Not all the time, but that's most of the time. So have a happy Thanksgiving. I guess I can come on tomorrow. I don't know. I have the pool closes at 1:30, so I don't know if I'm going to go to the pool. I might skip it. I'll probably do my walk, so I might come on for a little bit just to see. But the Lion game is usually at noon. Is at 1. I don't know why they would change it, but so I might come on like noon to 1. Let's see. Let's see when I go to the pool. But I got to go, by 1:30. So I'll go. If I go, I'll go about 11, and then come back, and then maybe do class 12 to 1 or something. I'll see. If you need me, get my email on teaserking.com and go to the homepage. There's my email. If you want to buy, go ahead. You can text me if you got that, or email. Send me emails, and that's about it. So have a good Thanksgiving. Enjoy. Just relax. Have your pumpkin pie, and then this weekend, and then Monday you can fast. Do a 24-hour fast to clean up from the dessert you had. All right, that's about it. So have a good day, everybody. www.teaserking. Again, your free play, Philadelphia over Dub Bears, and Texas A&M, which is, I believe, a Friday game, over. All right. Take care, everybody. Thanks, and I hope you enjoy. And that's why I leave it live, so you can tell me that. All right. Take care, everybody.